When it's 12 noon, is it good afternoon or good morning? Afternoon at 12 noon?
1 second.
You're right on it? No, we're right on 12 noon. Okay, looking forward to the ball game up in Charlotte. Saturday, 7 o'clock. East Carolina, a team that has excellent tradition. They've won their conference, I think, 2 of the last 3 years. Last year they were 6-6, went to the bowl game, finished 6-7. But they're a team that believes they can upset some people. They beat Virginia Tech there in Charlotte 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And certainly they plan on beating us Saturday night. They're an offensive bunch. Their defense was not that good last year, but their offense was very good. Dominic Davis, their quarterback, will probably own about all the school records after this season. And last year he hit about 65%, almost 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns. They play Mike Leach's offense, Texas Tech. Ruffin was at Texas Tech, and he brought an assistant with him from there. So, as we all know, Mike Leach's offense has gone up and down the field every year against about anybody. And these guys do an excellent job with it. So, our defense will be tested. We got to have a good pass rush, but we got to cover. The ball's going to get out, so we got to cover people and break on the ball and so forth. So it certainly will be a test for our pass defense, and not only our third down defense, which wasn't very good last year, but our fourth down defense. These guys attempted 28 last year, fourth downs, hit 21 out of 28. So they believe in their offense, and our defense needs to play well, and offensively we need to play well. We can't go 3 and out and say go get them defense, get the ball back real quick, because they got a history of moving the ball. So anyway, it's going to be a good challenge for all of us, and we're looking forward to this game. We're very healthy. Last night, looking around in practice, and just everyone that started preseason practice was practicing. Akeem Auguste really hadn't practiced all year, so he's still hobbled with his foot injury. But other than that, we're very healthy at this time of year, so we shouldn't get anybody hurt, hopefully, between now and Saturday night, and we'll be pretty close to 100% full speed. Our quarterbacks, we plan on playing both of them in the game. Everybody wants to know who's going to start. We'll announce that a little later in the week. It's not that big a deal who plays first. They'll both play probably a couple of possessions, 2 or 3 first half, and then we'll go from there. Connor's had a very good preseason. His scrimmages actually been a little better than Stephen. Stephen had a very good practice last night. They're both improved, and I really believe competing against each other has made both of them better. So we'll see how the season plays out. Sometimes I hear coaches say, well, he's won the competition, he's our quarterback for the year. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can say one guy's a quarterback for the year if you've got 2 that are pretty close, and if one of them's struggling, I don't know how you tell the other guy he's not going to have a chance. So, fortunately, I've had a history. I've coached a few years, as most of you know, and I started thinking back of the 8 conference champions our teams have won. In 4 of the 8, we played 2 quarterbacks, 50% of the time. The last one was 2000 with Jesse Palmer and Rex Grossman, and they actually were involved in 4 wins each. We finished 8-1 and won the conference in 2000. So obviously, if one of us playing a lot better than the other, he plays. And our job as coaches is to always put the best players on the field, no matter what position, and that's what we plan to do. So they'll both play this game, and it would be very easy if one of them clearly outplayed the other, and then we'll know who's going to play the next game. But we'll have both of them ready. Really been impressed with both these guys. I think they've improved to the point that our passing game will be improved. Obviously, starts with the offensive line, and those guys have done pretty well thus far this preseason. But again, we got to take it to the ballpark. We're an unknown team. We've got some high expectations. A lot of people are picking us to do well. Some are not picking us to do very well, which is okay. We know we have to earn it on the field and go from there. But our guys are looking forward to it. 4 weeks is a long time to practice. I was telling somebody the other day, we used to practice 2 weeks and go play. Now we practice about 3, so we're a week off. We're a week longer than we used to be, but it's fewer two-a-days and so forth. It's probably a lot safer the way we do it now, a lot smarter and so forth. So anyway, looking forward to it, and expect a good crowd up there. East Carolina will have a lot of people there. That's obviously in their state, and they'll bring a good crowd, and I'm sure we'll have a good crowd also. So should be a heck of a game. Looking forward to it. Questions?
Raise your hand, please. We'll get a microphone to you.
Coach Joey Williams, Gamecock Central. With the prominence of their offense and how much they are able to move the ball and how quickly they get rid of it, in the last couple of seasons, your defenses have struggled getting the spread offenses off the field, particularly with Auburn last year, Florida during Coach Meyer's tenure. Is this a game where you'd like to chew up a lot of clock and kind of keep their offense off the field, just get out of there with a win?
No, I don't think so. We got confidence our defense can play. If you're better than the other team, I think we're picked to beat these guys. You'd like to have about 15 possessions each side. So now we hope to get them off the field quickly. If we're fortunate to score quickly, we'll try to score quickly. We're not going to try to just run for 3-4, but we do plan to run, don't get me wrong. Our offense has not changed that much from last year with giving the ball to Marcus Lattimore. They know that he's going to get it, and he'll get it a bunch. But no, we're not out there trying to chew up clock, if that's what you mean.
Scott Hood from Gamecock Central. ECU has changed to a 3-4 defense this year after last year's showing. What are the challenges of facing a 3-4 defense as opposed to the more conventional 4-3?
Well, the challenges are a little bit that they can move guys around more with just 3 down linemen. And they're usually slanting somewhere, and the 4 linebackers are slanting somewhere. So it gives you an extra stand-up guy. Very, very similar to what Vanderbilt has used the last several years. Wofford, I think, played that way. So we've seen a little bit of it, but we just need to block our guys. I mean, we need to block our area and so forth. Sometimes you don't know who's going to be there, but if you take the proper steps, you'll sort of run into somebody. So it'll be a little bit of a challenge for our linemen to make sure we're heading in the right direction, and your protections are a little different. So we've watched. Actually, we've been watching Air Force and Brigham Young. Their defensive coordinator, I think, came from Brigham Young, and their staff visited Air Force last year. So we've been watching a couple of teams. You said, what are you watching them dudes for? And I said, well, we think this is what they're going to look like. And it is unusual. So, watching last year's East Carolina defense, they may not look anything much like that. So it's something different.
Steve, Kenny Miles is listed as the number 2 running back on the depth chart. Did he work a little bit at safety last week, or will he pretty much be?
No, he's on offense. That was just a one day. Let's see if he can pick something up. Our safety struggled to practice before, and I thought maybe, but that was not a good idea. He's the backup. If something would happen to Marcus, he's our guy. Sean is an excellent runner with the ball, and he'll be in the game some also. We got to sort of pick our spots, put Sean in there, but Sean's a very good running back. So hopefully all 3 of them will get in the game a bit.
Steve, I know that you've been careful with Marcus's snaps this preseason. How much will you try to keep the wear and tear off his legs when you have the opportunity this season?
The amount of time Marcus plays depends on the score of the game, obviously. If it's a close game all the way through, shoot, he's ready to carry 30 to 40 like he did last year. So he's ready to go. He's gone through all the practices, didn't go through a lot of scrimmages, but he's healthy and raring to go. Now we come to try to win the game. That's what you come to the ballpark trying to do. And then after that, if you're fortunate to get ahead a little bit, then you let the backup guys play. And we need him to carry 40 times to beat East Carolina, we'll try to give it to them 40 times if that's the best way to try to win the game.
Steve, with the way the economy is, a lot of folks struggling, what do you think about the idea that USC is seen as a source of strength, a source of hope for many people in this state?
Well, hopefully we will be. Hopefully we will give our fans something to get excited about, and we'll try our best. But that is, football is big in our state, and if we can get them excited about something, we'll try our best to do that.
Coach, how do you rate your depth behind your front 22?
Our depth is decent. Most places, offensive line's not real deep. Basically a freshman second bunch in there, and maybe a walk-on center is our second guy, Travis Ford. So, we need to stay healthy up front. Need to stay healthy, some of the defensive linemen and so forth. But we got some depth here and there, and wide receiver, got some depth there, running back probably. So, but there's a few spots we certainly do not need to have injuries.
Steve, over here. We're kind of in uncharted territory here in terms of the preseason rankings and the expectations and all that. Can you talk just a little bit more about any concerns you might have that these guys are, reading too many headlines or think they've arrived, that kind of thing?
We haven't noticed anything yet because we don't even talk about them. I can assure you the coaches are still yelling and screaming as if we were picked number 50 in the country or whatever. And that's our job, push these guys as hard as we can, not let them get too comfortable about anything. So we're trying to do that. We haven't noticed that our players are acting like they're hot stuff. And certainly the coaches, it's up to us to make sure they don't think they are. So we're doing the best we can, but we need to go play the games. I know every time a team is picked fairly high, they say it doesn't affect us, and it does affect some teams. But we're just trying to push on, and we're really not talking about preseason hype. Just trying to play our best to win a ball game this week and improve before the next one. That's what we're trying to do.
Steve, the Clowney hype was pretty unprecedented. Did he meet your expectations on the field in the preseason, exceed your expectations? So what would you say about that? I
think he's done about what we all expected. I think what surprised us, he's a little bit of a power rusher also. He can knock those guys backwards when he needs to. So he's not just a fast guy coming around the edge. But Jadeveon has had an excellent attitude, and Coach Long's working him in with all those other guys. So he's done well. And like I said, he'll be in early and often, and we'll let him earn his way as he goes through the season. I was telling Rick Henry that was really a neat thing for our school that we were able to get the #1 recruit in the nation, and we appreciate Jadeveon coming here. A kid that could have gone anywhere in the nation, picked a school really with not great football tradition, but he believes that we can win big, and signing players like him gives us hope, gives Glenn hope, doesn't it? Hope that something good can happen for us. And so he was a huge sign for us that the #1 guy thinks South Carolina can win big.
Steve, you lost a pretty integral part of the offense last year with Patrick DeMarco. How confident are you in the abilities of Dalton Wilson and Justice Cunningham to replace what DeMarco could do?
Yeah, Dalton's a good, solid fullback. Yeah, he's a player that certainly deserves a scholarship, and he's still a walk-on. I wish we had one available for him right now, but we don't. But that's sort of the nature sometimes of sports. Some walk-ons are probably a little bit more deserving than the ones that are on there, and certainly Dalton is a little bit more deserving than some we have. But he's a starting fullback and can play a little bit of tight end in there. He's a good player. So he will take that spot. Justice Cunningham at tight end's doing well. And Buster Anderson is sort of, I think, our other scheduled tight end right now. He's sort of come out ahead of those other freshman tight ends. So Buster should play a little bit in there.
Coach, we heard a lot about the dedication that the team showed over the summer and voluntary workouts. And I spoke with Marcus Lattimore the other day, and he talked about the hunger of this team, that he did see that the team looked very hungry for a championship. You know, obviously you've been around a while. What's the feeling of the team? Is this team really focused on winning big?
Well, we hope so, but we got to go play. You know, everybody talks like that this year. You ever heard a team say, man, we had a sorry summer, guys didn't show up? I think I said that a few times, yeah. I've said that, yeah. Yeah, I have said that in my early years here, because it was the truth. Guys who wouldn't show up, and of course it's all voluntary, you know, in the summer. But yeah, they all showed up now. I think we don't have any problem, guys. And so anyway, but most all teams are like that. Most all teams show up, and we got to do it on the field. You know, it's just all talk. You know, we're still talking season, I guess. We played the first game. But yeah, we're ready to play. We're ready to play. We've done about all we can to be ready. We got 3 or 4 more practice days, but we're ready to go play. And I really believe our quarterback play, I believe it's going to be better this year, because I think these guys have really trained and got their minds sharp, Stephen and Connor. They're both ready to play. A lot better, I think, than maybe in the past. So hopefully that'll all prove true as we go through the season.
Steve, the decision to alternate snaps or give snaps to both Connor and Steven, is that solely based on their on-the-field performance, or is some of it based on some of the bad decisions Steven has
No,
made?
it was based completely on the performance of Steven, maybe the last couple of games. His performance was not good enough, in my opinion, for us to say he's our quarterback next year. In my opinion, we needed to say, hey, we're going to have some competition there, and that's what we're going to have, and we're having it, and we're still having it. And whoever we think's played the best in the preseason, me and Coach Mangus, but I'll make the final call, obviously. We'll go out there first, but they both will play. They both have earned the right to play this game. And it's based on performance, not on Steven's transgressions. We have forgiven him of his transgressions. And he's a new person, he really is. He's doing things differently. That's all history. And we're starting afresh. And it's all based on performance from here on out. And I think he'll stay away from those transgressions he's had in the past. We believe he's a different person now.
Coach, with Coach Butler here, do you feel like the special teams will start improving this year? And how important is that?
Yeah, again, I'm impressed with what always happened in practice, but again, we got to go do it in the game. And I know we always say we're going to be better, and we seem to do the same thing. But I notice some guys who were starters on special team last year are not starters anymore. So anyway, we got hopefully our best athletes out there, and Coach Butler is very impressive, enthusiastic. He has a plan, and we do it over and over and over again. And you guys that watch practice first couple of weeks, you'll know we've spent as much time probably as about anybody on special teams. So hopefully it'll pay off for us.
Steve, you said later this week on the quarterbacks. Just quickly, does that mean after practice Wednesday? Does that mean game time decision? What's your timeline on it?
Oh, we said later in the week now. If I said early in the week, it changed to later in the week. So it'll be later in the week sometime. You know, I think we planned to announce it early in the week. Now we plan to announce it later in the week. It's not a big deal. They both won't play. Whoever goes in there first, they announce it Friday sometime when we get on the bus or something.
On another note, Devin Taylor, what kind of camp has he had in your mind, and what kind of season is he capable of having?
Yeah, Devin's done pretty well. Again, he's not played a lot like Melvin and some Travian. They don't play a lot in the scrimmages. But we think Devin's ready to go. And he needs to knock some balls down this week. Look for him to hopefully get some hands up, and along with the other guys. So this is a passing team, though. That's one thing about it. We know they're a passing team. And so our rushers are going to get a chance to rush. And our cover guys are going to get a chance to cover. And we'll go from there.
Coach, over the last couple of years, your team has kind of struggled a little bit with neutral site games. Is this something you're concerned about despite the experience of this team going up to Charlotte on Saturday?
No, I don't. It's a little bit like a home and road game. We've struggled in bowl games, that's for sure. I guess that's a neutral site game. Yeah, we haven't played very well at all. But anyway, that's another team. This is a new team this year, and we should treat this. Really, you don't say home game, away game. You just concentrate about playing the game the best you can. It doesn't matter where it is. So we should. We have struggled with some teams that some people thought we should handle easily. And, the Woffords and South Carolina States, they've come in here and smacked us around, and we've had a dogfight just to beat those teams. Are we a different team now? I don't know. We got to find out. When it's all over Saturday night, we'll find out if we're a little different or not.
Coach, Brandon Shell, after his health-related issues, how's he done? Will he get some snaps on Saturday?
Yeah, Brandon has done very well. Brandon actually was back the next day from that little heat dizziness and so forth. And our trainers acted very swiftly and really did a super job getting that under control. And certainly we learned a lot as coaches and strength coaches and everyone about the heat factor. We always got to be concerned, and we haven't had any close to an issue since then. But anyway, Brandon's about ready to go. Brandon obviously has a lot to learn. Played in a real running offense down there at Goose Creek, Coach Reedy, and they still got a heck of a team and run the ball super down there. So the pass protection and this, that, and the other a little bit is a lot to learn for him, but he's coming along nicely. And I think right now he's the backup right tackle, and hopefully can get him in the game. The score will depend, I guess, on how much he plays.
Real quick, Coach, two questions. Status of Andrew Clifford, how's he doing? And secondly, broaden that fan base, get that Charlotte connection, obviously with the guys you got coming down from Rock Hill and stuff. How important is having a good showing up there in Charlotte?
Well, first of all, Andrew Clifford was riding his motorcycle, or scooter, I guess you'd call it, around 1:30 or 2 in the morning to go get some pizza the other night and had an accident, no helmet. From what I understand, he was trying to carry his pizza and drive his scooter one-handed, not real smart, and sort of fell off and hit his head. And I think somebody saw him unconscious there, and they got him to the hospital. And he's got some stitches in his head. He's, concussion. So he's been resting. So he's out. He's out for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. I don't know. But hopefully that was a lesson for our guys that all drive scooters. You can't tell them to do everything in life. You can advise them to wear a helmet and really encourage them, but if they're not going to wear one, so anyway, but he's okay. But hopefully it's a lesson. The rest of our guys won't put themselves in that situation. So your other question was about
Charlotte, you got that Rock Hill kind of connection down here. Let's go ahead and broaden it out a little bit and get the Charlotte fan base.
Yeah, we got several players from the Charlotte area and Rock Hill and so forth up through there. And I think they're fired up about it, but they'll be fired up for every game. Once you kick it off, you don't say, man, I'm in Charlotte, I'm in Columbia here, I'm at Williams-Brice, I'm in Between the Hedges or Rocky Top. You don't say that, you just try to play the game. So I think that's what their minds will be on right there. Okay.
You've mentioned a couple times about Steven doing a lot better. What was his wake-up call, or his one of the lights sort of come on for Steven? Was it the last suspension and the threat that maybe he wouldn't be able to play his last season?
Oh, I don't know about all that. That's all history. No answer to that question. Yeah.
Coach, hype aside, what makes you feel that this team has a chance to really be special this year?
Just what we've seen in practice. We think we've improved, but again, until we play the games, we don't know. But I've had several years here in practice. Our quarterbacks couldn't throw the ball against the air with no defenders out there and throw and catch. Hit the ground here, over here, there, and now we're pretty much have an idea of where they're going. And the quarterbacks are usually, their timing is much better from just maybe years and years of practice or concentration or whatever. So that's encouraging. But again, until we go do it consistently, it's just hope. We just got hope right now, and we'll see how it plays out.
Steve, a follow-up on Devin. He's such a quiet almost meek guy. When you're recruiting a defensive lineman, does that give you any pause? Do you almost want a guy who is a little boisterous, or do you think that doesn't matter at all?
That's just his personality. When the ball's snapped, he goes. We don't have any problem with him being timid or shy. But yeah, everyone's a little different. And as coaches, you really base it on their performance, mainly. They don't have to be real talkative and so forth to be good players. He's sort of a quiet type leader. Okay?
Coach, how high has the bar been raised since last year among your fans, coaching staff, and players? Do you think that, what's the goal this year?
Well, the goal is about the same as last year, win the SEC. We had that goal last year, it fell short. We'll set some other goals too. But that's the biggest goal right there. Try to win the division first, try to win the SEC. We got some numbers of total wins and so forth. I think we hit about 5 out of 8 goals last year, which was decent, but not great. We had a chance to hit about all of them. If we win the last 2 games, we'd hit every one of them, but that didn't work out. So anyway, but I think they're reachable goals. Our guys set them the other day, but right now the only one to talk about is the Eastern Division. That's first, and then if you do that, you get the chance to play for the SEC, and the total number of games. So every game's important, obviously. Yeah. Okay, anything else?
One more here.
Yeah.
Steve, with all the issues you've had in the secondary facing a passing team like ECU, just talk about the concerns you have back there.
Well, again, until we really play well back there, we're concerned like last year. Biggest problem we had last year was third down defense, giving up over 40%. If we get that down around 33, 34, oh man, we can really play some ball. And, gets the offense on the field quicker and all these kind of things. So it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how we play. Third downs and fourth downs against this team, they go for a lot of force. Midfield or on 40, they'll go ahead and go for the fourth downers. So we'll be tested. Yeah. All right, see you guys.